Welcome to Market Sam After Work. Today I want to introduce this Pristine Action. Now, the guys at Pristine Actions contacted me and said they'd like to get one to us to show our audience and to have a little play with. So we got it here. We've been through, and to have a little play with it, I've had chambered up in 260 Remington this 26-inch long Sassen Barrel. So chambered it up to go on there, set up with one of my 3-port muzzle brakes on it, and just bolted in like normal. Now these are set up with a 1 in 20 thread on the front of them, so they are sort of designed to go with the like pre-fit Savage barrels, so you could do this without a gunsmith. But I've set it up like a normal Remington 700, so it's threaded up there. It's head spaced by its machining rather than by a lock nut. So that's how I set up this one here, to do it as well as I can do things. And then I've stuck it in a MDT chassis with running one of my barrel guards, Bipod systems, and then it's also got one of my bag riders on the back of it. It's running the MDT magazine, and it's got a TRIGGER-TAC trigger running at the 1.2 pounds. So that's the rig of what we're sitting in here. 260 Remington, went out and had a shot with it, and I suppose as for the functionality of it, it worked flawlessly. From extraction to feeding out of the magazine to everything worked really nicely. I was really happy how it worked, just a straight, no messing about with, or no playing with. It just worked all as it should do. My assessments on the quality of machining, all the way it's all put together. It's all really nice, the Pristine Action. I'd say in looking at it, it does tend to remind me of other components, and it looks a little bit like there's a bit of taking smart designs, be it from the back of the bolt is very similar to ATACR, the front of the bolt is a little bit like Savage, a little bit like Accuracy International, and I suppose I don't know all the heritage of where all the designs and things come from, but what they've done is taken lots of smart ideas and put it all together in this sort of action. So that's really nice. The way the bolt, there's a nice bolt release over the side here to let it out. The little, very, very small diameter bolt head with 3 lugs, so it's got a lot of locking force, but it's nice and strong on that sort of score without taking too much waste in the front of the action, so it stays very strong. The Seiko extractor, but a very good extractor, twin plungers, that sort of stuff. It's sort of jam-packed full of features. Little bolt cap in the back here pops off a bit like a ATACR. The bolt handle bolts in there like a ATACR sort of stuff, and machined in a very good bits and pieces. So basically a very economical way, a very smart way to come up with a very good design very simply. Bolt release works flawlessly. It's got the side safety like the Remington 700. So I was very happy with all those sort of bits and pieces. Function really nicely. I suppose, there's not much, it's all very positive. The one critique I would probably say would be the receiver is very straight. It's very straight round. So it's nice in the machining process for that. And the using it in, from how rails bolt on that sort of stuff very nicely. I'd probably like to see just a little bit of tapering and some little bit more machining on there to make it look a little bit more sort of the level of what it is, the materials and the machining that goes in there. I'd like a little bit of aesthetics on the outside of it, but it is really, that's just me. That's just my sort of look at it. That's what I would go with. But in the fashion of the quality of machining and the functionality, the fit, finish and form and all that sort of stuff, really, really good. Really, really happy with it. So our shooting with it, worked really nicely. I was doing a bit of testing in the way of pushing things for shooting off a tripod, because I was doing a shooting uphill, shooting downhill. So the hardest sort of stuff to try and get accuracy, especially at 1,000 yards, sort of pretty complicated way to do it. But and I will do some more testing on the bipod like it should be, so I can actually go through and show the accuracy of this rifle. But the action, I give it 10 out of 10 on that sort of score. Functionality, really, really good. So that's about what I can tell you. I'll show you, I'll put in there some clips through this video so you can see all the details for yourself. And the other thing I would say is that Pristine, new company, trying pretty hard. There's lots of videos and bits and pieces out there of showing the finer details of this sort of action. I should say the bolt head is also a changeable bolt head, so you can actually swap that over. That's fairly simple to do. There's videos on YouTube to show that, but swapping it over. So going to a multi-caliber side of things, having this same action, and maybe even with the pre-fit barrels or however you want to do it, but changing it over to go back down to the 223. that's also going to make it work. And the way they've designed the bolt, it's going to feed nicely with the 223 or the smaller, whatever they are, the 300 blackout or the whatever they're running in the small 223 bolt heads. It's going to do that, I would suggest. Haven't tested it, but I'd suggest going to feed nicely and all those sort of bits and pieces as well. So it becomes a very flexible piece of gear in the way of using it that way. And like I said, really nice machining attached to the thing, good materials, that sort of stuff. So, and from what I've seen, it performed flawlessly. So that's my quick one on that there. I will show some more on this. We'll go out and do some more work with the 260. I want to do that as well. And that's where we'll show some more of this action. So worthwhile checking out if you're considering new action. And that's my take on it. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you very much for checking in. I'll catch you next time.